Kingdom campfires, they burn so bright. God guides us with His holy light. Entrepreneurs with faith so bold, transforming the marketplace, co-creating kingdom gold.
So, welcome to Kingdom Campfires podcast, dedicated to marketplace wisdom and kingdom transformation. I'm your host, Michael Whitfield, and for the next few minutes, I want to invite you around a campfire style, authentic conversation as entrepreneurs and leaders, just like yourself, share their journey of seeking first the kingdom of God and co laboring with Him in the marketplace. Kingdom Campfires is sponsored by Sprint Wins, the system that quickly creates and launches your winning digital product in just one day. While AI knows almost anything and everything and can create custom digital products in minutes, it can't do anything unless you know the right prompts and do them in the right order. That skill of know and do is exactly what Sprint Wins provides. The digital product that produces quick leads and delivers 10 times more profits for your business on autopilot. And Sprint Wins shows you how to create, launch, and start selling your product in one day. It removes all the stress of chasing the wrong clients and transforms your business into a process where it's making sales 24/7, even while you sleep. You can visit sprintwins.com now and create your digital product today. Before we go any further, I want to introduce my guest today. It's Giuseppe Ciccone. He's from Tennessee, and Giuseppe is the founder of Ciccone Business Solutions, where he helps small to mid-sized businesses get organized, refine their vision, and overcome obstacles to boost efficiency, productivity, and profitability, allowing them to focus on what they do best. He is passionate about serving Christian business owners, and especially in the nonprofit space, and he's always looking for ways to connect with like-minded entrepreneurs. Giuseppe, welcome to Kingdom Campfires podcast. As we jump in, I wanted to ask with this one question to kind of launch off the conversation. When did you first recognize God's hand in your business journey?
Hey, Michael, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to the conversation. When I first recognized God's hand in my business journey, man, there's been so many different moments. But I would say God really reframed my mindset around partnership and relying on Him for provision instead of going after that hustle mentality where I'm trying to make everything happen on my own. And that really came to me during my devotional time. It was kind of a series of moments where God was just speaking to me about stripping back all the busyness and fully investing in the one thing that He has for me to focus on. And so I actually talk about that in the first chapter of my book, just gaining spiritual clarity gained from like my early morning routines. That's when I really spent time with the Lord, and He spoke to me about that. So just leaving the religious performance and really embracing a kingdom identity.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. I like that, embracing a kingdom identity and shedding that religious experience. So, can you share about a season where maybe you went through a testing in your business that ultimately like strengthened your faith and resolve as you move forward?
I think it really came to be around the time where I was pursuing the attempt to scale my business with Trilogy Coaching is something that I used to really focus on, which was a health coaching business that I really ran after for a long time. But trying to grow that and choosing to be obedient to the Lord over the pressure of trying to fulfill some social norms of marketing a certain way, but rather just embracing what God had for me. That's been something that I had to really see as Him leading me. So choosing
Mhm.
obedience over the pressure to scale and trusting Him
Yeah.
to scale. I know we got to do stuff to scale. We got to do our business tactics, but really when we choose obedience and trust Him to help us scale our business, that's where I saw vision intersecting with my pursuit in business.
Yeah, that's really good. So in that pursuit of business, and you've been doing this thing for a while, I'm assuming. I think in your
Mhm.
bio you had listed several years back that you've been working in business. But what's one of the things you've seen as you're connecting with people in these different spheres? What's one of the common misconceptions you see people having about integrating their faith into business?
I think the disconnect sometimes will come around finances. People get really caught up on this desire to provide or desire to want to make something happen. And it's easy to forget that we're having faith in a God that provides all of those things. And so I think that's one of the biggest disconnects for people is they kind of separate themselves and get into this mentality that they're going to make it happen themselves. It's like, God, I'm going to do this thing and I pray that you bless it. Or instead
Mm,
of, God, what are you calling me to do? What's my lane and how can I stay in this lane and how can I really thrive in the thing you're calling me to do? So that's the
mm.
separation I see a lot of times is when that financial piece gets in there, it can kind of create some tension and going the wrong direction.
Yeah. Do you think sometimes when that's happening that it's almost like a manipulation process where you're saying I'm having faith in God, I'm believing, I'm trusting, relying, but then you're trying to like grind it out and make it happen yourself. So it's almost like you're manipulating God in
Yeah,
that
I,
process.
Yeah, I don't think it's intentional a lot of times. I think it's actually more of a fear-based thing. So
Hmm.
it's a response to something that needs to be dealt with. So there's a fear that often is there that's leading people to operate a certain way, and they think they're doing all the things they should be doing, but really it's that fear that kind of gets in there that causes them to say things they wouldn't say or to act certain ways they wouldn't normally want to act or do things they wouldn't normally want to do. It kind of gets in there and muddies the waters. That fear gets in there. Instead of just simplifying and stripping back and
Hmm.
just being simple
Yeah.
and trusting the Lord.
Now, if we had one of our listeners right now that was kind of feeling like they're dealing with that, they're identifying with what you're saying, they're feeling like there is a little bit of fear there that they've let come in. What would be like a quick tip or a quick win that they could see that maybe would help them in that area, you think?
I think they what I would recommend is to just embrace peace. I talked
Mm,
about the peace framework in my book, and so it's just this model of just pausing and asking God for direction, evaluating the situation, amplifying what He's saying. Just taking that moment to really not respond and react, but just setting back and just hearing Him, and then changing the course based on what He's leading you to do. I would just embrace peace. That's the framework He gave me, but I'm sure if the listener was just to pray and say, God, like, can you give me peace that surpasses understanding? He promises the peace that surpasses the understanding, not necessarily the understanding. So just having that peace
yeah.
to go through that, I would say.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So yeah, you're right. I mean, we don't always understand when we're in the process, but he does make promises to us in that piece. So that's really good. So the next thing I would say is like, how has your definition of success, if you're looking at this thing as you're growing in business, as you've been in and doing it for several years, how did your definition of success transform through your journey with God in business?
I think in the early years, like when I started one of the first businesses I ever did was a music company, and this early hustle focused mentality on visibility and scaling and trying to get my revenue up and trying to find all the ways to make something happen. Things were really tight. It was just an early time. So going from that and now seeing success, it really equals like a faithfulness and obedience. So it creates like a routine transformation because it's more like we were talking about peaceful. It's more staying in that place of peace and seeing Him
Hmm.
as the one that brings success, and then performance being replaced by presence and rhythm and peace. Again, peace, just getting rid of performance, stripping that off, which is easy to do. I've also done some stuff in worship, and so you being on that stage or whatever, you just try to rip away that performance, or ask God to rip away that performance so you can just be in that place of experiencing His presence. I think will really help you scale and grow your business.
Yeah, that's good. And that's one of the things I know that if we look back at your bio, that's one of the areas that you help people in is like scaling and growing their business. So if you're looking at like what do you believe here's like if you're looking at vision and looking at what's happening in the marketplace and seeing where God's already at work and how we can join him. What do you believe God is doing right now in the marketplace that most business owners haven't even seen yet, or maybe they're not capitalizing on it yet?
I really feel like he's raising up entrepreneurs that are focused on discipleship and wholeness. I've seen several people come out with materials about how entrepreneurs will save the world. And I really agree with that concept a lot. Just emphasizing in health is a huge thing. I think if we show up in our health and we show up restful and we have that rhythm, I think it creates a foundation for leadership. And I don't think that's being pursued as much. I see a lot of business owners who are not prioritizing their health. There's a handful, but just in my sphere, when I look around, I'm like, man, we could really go to another level by emphasizing our health and also expanding the digital influence that we have out there for education and connection. Specifically, education is a big deal. And I think it's a season where we're leaning into education, which really lends itself to discipleship. So I really like to specialize in education, learning management systems. So focusing on helping people get from A to B by teaching them and giving them the organized steps to get there, and kind of hand holding people, remembering to maybe speak to somebody on a sixth grade level and just walking them through the next step
Yeah,
to grow. So
yeah. Yeah, that's really good. So I like that hand holding part because a lot of times when we're talking about bigger concepts or bigger projects, even sometimes we need that one person that can walk through it with us. And unfortunately, a lot of times as entrepreneurs and a lot of times solo entrepreneurs, we're out here doing this thing by ourselves and we can really start to feel like we're alone. So like I can see how having someone like yourself as a business partner, or someone that will walk through that with you, whether you're developing an online coaching platform or if you're developing just a training, those are some really valuable tools that I know you specialize in and things you can bring to the table. So I have one last question before we come to an end with our time together. If you're looking at what's what everything you've learned as far as kingdom principles and how they're infused into business and how they actually position us for acceleration, a lot of times we'll see things that were where the world differs when it comes to kingdom principles or business principles, and they're different than what it looks like in the kingdom. What's one kingdom principle that has completely transformed how you approach business?
um, I would definitely say Matthew 6:33. And Matthew 6:33 talks about seeking the kingdom. I'll just read it. It says, "But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you." So all the things that we're discussing, his promises that they will be added to us if we seek first the kingdom. So finding ways to seek first the kingdom in our business and the way we develop our business and how we communicate with others, just what is kingdom first. I think we can trust God in that process. Also, stewardship over striving is something that I'm really embracing in this next season. God is really showing me that just stewarding what he has for us instead of striving to make something happen, it's going to be evident in our health. This was a really big deal with the foster care stuff we did with our kids and other organizations, just stewarding what God has in our hands. Like God just gave me this current idea of like, my kids are my interns in my ministry or business. And so how do I steward what they have? Well, my daughter, she likes to bake. So how can I help her bake a cake for a family in the church? Or my son likes to clean cars. So how can I help him pick a family to give away a car cleaning or something like that? Just fostering those, stewarding what you have in your hand. And again, that peace framework, embracing peace and that strategy of really going after peace in all that we pursue. I think that's really,
Yeah.
really important.
That's really good. And that verse, Matthew 6:33, is a really key verse for everything we're doing through Kingdom Campfires. And I really appreciate you pulling that forward in your conversation because I really identify with it. One of the things as we're going through all this content, questions that we've discussed and our time here together, I know there's no doubt some of the listeners out there are interested and you've piqued their interest in some of the things that you're saying. So what's the best way for someone that wants to learn more about you, more about what you're doing in business, more about your services? What's the best way for them to learn more or connect?
Mentorship. I think mentorship is one of the things that I strive for. So if you go to Ciccone Business Solutions /mentorship, you're going to see a whole program there that we have that's going to be phenomenal for going for your next steps. And I want to work with 10 people that want to go to that next level. It's going to be an amazing program. There's going to be lives involved, training, curriculum, hands-on, face-to-face interactions. So just go there and you'll see a deal that we put together just for this podcast.
That's really good. I appreciate you making some special thing just for our listeners. The other thing I would say is if someone just wanted like grab 15 minutes on your calendar to kind of pick your brain, is there a way that they could just somehow reach out to you and connect with you directly?
Yeah, they can go to my Linktree app, which is just Ciccone Business Solutions /GC, which is my name, Giuseppe Ciccone. So that's pretty simple.
Awesome. That's really good. So we're going to wrap up here. Thanks to our guests for Giuseppe for joining us and sharing your kingdom focused journey. You can learn more about what they're doing by using the link. I'm going to actually drop the link in the description of this episode so you'll be able to easily connect with Giuseppe. And if you're a kingdom entrepreneur or leader that's focused on seeing his kingdom come in your business and everyday life, I want to extend a special invite to join us as a guest. You can visit kingdomcampfires.com and you can apply there. Also, one more time, if you want to learn more about the simplest path for generating a flood of quality leads on autopilot by creating and launching your own digital product, all in one day, visit sprintwins.com. So that's a wrap for our time together with this Kingdom Campfire conversation. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Kingdom campfires, they burn so bright. God guides us with his holy light. Entrepreneurs with faith so bold, transforming the marketplace, co-creating kingdom gold. Fire where shadows fade, by his grace he guides the way. Every heart on the mission field, together we shall see it built. A tapestry of faith and traits, where every thread is heaven made, sharing visions hand in hand. We light these fires across the land. Kingdom campfires, they burn so bright. God guides us with his holy light. Entrepreneurs with faith so bold, transforming the marketplace, co-creating kingdom gold.